Good evening and welcome to Tuesday at Two Lines. Running a few minutes late. I apologize. It's been kind of a crazy week and I had to rebuild the whole thing. So, yeah. So that's what we're doing. But I am back and off of a great weekend in Michigan. So thank you to all of those that I ran into at Michigan. Had a great time. We'll break that all down, that race down, and talk a little bit about that. We will touch on some other exciting things happening here at Two Lines. But first, before we get too far in, we will take a look and see who all is in the chat. So, Gary Dunmore, Chris Frater, Chris Petskowski, Toju, Metal. What's up, Todd? Hope you're doing well, man. Thanks for tuning in. Nope, not falling asleep. I was actually watching the Buckeyes game. The Ohio State basketball men are playing, and they're winning pretty easily. So I was able to come down here and leave that game. My wife is still up there watching. I was putting up some Christmas decorations. We are hosting Thanksgiving for my family and Jen's family this Thanksgiving. So Thursday, Jen's family, and then Friday evening, we're doing Mexican food with my family, my side of the family. So Dusty and I will gather on Friday with my sister Amanda and my mom. Being gone makes Thanksgiving's kind of weird. So we do Mexican food ever since she passed. And that's been 16 years ago, 5 days ago. So, I know that people all around the world are dealing with loss, and our loss was a long time ago, but it's still tough. Mr. Albright, welcome. Daniel, thanks for tuning in. Dickie, man, thanks. That means a lot. It didn't go without its problems. And we'll talk a little bit about that. But I want to give you a shout out. Brother, you ran a phenomenal race on the vintage side and the GT side. But the vintage side, your car was hooked up. Second place finish. You were right there with Andrea. I mean, what was it? 2 laps, maybe? Incredible. Way to go, Dickie. Be proud. Great performance, man. HSF. Hey, Vince. Daryl Rogers. Where did I see Daryl? Didn't I see Daryl? Daryl. People are saying hello to Daryl. Hey, Rerun. Let's go Quick Slicks. Don't they sponsor Joe and Jen? Yes. Quick Slicks has given Joe some tires to give away on Monday nights. I caught some of the replay last night. And it's been chaos. Work has been kind of crazy. I swear we have to get Marty a shot collar for when it's time to start. Thanks, Daryl. Hope you're doing well, brother. I miss you, man. It's been too long. Josh. So while I'm in the mood of doing thank you, so thank you, Dickie, for just an awesome performance. Thank you, Josh Reed. Josh, Josh is just a good friend, and he's a great slot car racer and is very passionate about the hobby and cars in general. And so Josh calls me a handful of times a week, and I just always enjoy our conversations. But Josh reached out and said, hey, I'm going to pick Ian Weir up, who, thank you to Ian for coming from the UK back to the United States to hang with a bunch of people he'd never met with before, to be a rock star on the live stream. I mean, I watched a little bit of it, and Ian and Steve Swatell, they killed it, guys. I don't know that people understand how difficult that really was to provide 14 hours of a live stream and try to make it engaging, so people weren't bored out of their mind. We had to cover 2 different tracks. But before that even happened, Josh said, "Marty, I know you got a crazy weekend. I'm now driving by myself. I'm going to go pick up Ian." And Josh played host to Ian the entire weekend. He made sure he got to where he needed to be. He made sure that if he needed food, he got food. He even hung around on Sunday when everybody else went home. Josh and Ian went to the Henry Ford Museum, and Ian sent me a message today and said that it was phenomenal. That it was fantastic. He enjoyed it, and to thank me for, and really thank Josh for what Josh did. So Josh, thank you. It means the world to me. I owe you something. I think I've got something here for you as a gift for my appreciation. So, but yeah, man, you were awesome. Thank you so much, just for being you. Hey, Gladstone. Hey, Sean. Alma Fan 55, absolutely Diggy. Thank you to all the sponsors, right? Yeah, we had great sponsors for the event. We had Professor Motor. And listen, Oliver, every event is tough, right? There are always things that you can't control that happen. Building 2 tracks, putting the venue together, like all those things that he and Mike Stott. So shout out to Mike Stott from Cloverleaf Racing. Shout out to Steve Swatell at Quick Slicks and the Slot Car Corner. Shout out to Jim DeFalco. He gave some prizes, some discounts, deep discounts on some controllers. Like if you were looking for a controller and you got one of those certificates, man, like it's a big deal. It was just a wonderful sponsors. Shout out to Ian from Magnetic Racing. Magnetic Racing, Ian coming over. And I hope I didn't upset anybody by this, but I put his logo on the event because it made the live stream. Guys, I wouldn't have been able to do it without him. I wouldn't have. And I am just thankful that he saw that I needed help. And listen, he probably took some crap from the guys on the West that knew he was coming to do this on the East. And then some of the guys from the East probably weren't very nice to him because they know he has the relationship with the West. And I say, screw all that. Ian was awesome, and he did an amazing job. And so, yes, our sponsors were awesome. So Cloverleaf, Professor Motor, Oliver worked his tail off, helping build 2 tracks, getting the wiring done, getting the timing done. And I have a whole list of things, I think, for feedback for those guys about how to help make that event even better. It had moments where it was kind of a hot mess. And we were trying to hold it together from the live stream standpoint. And Steve and Ian did an amazing job making that happen. So shout out to those guys. I really appreciate it. But I do have some feedback. Like there's some things that need to happen. We need organized practices. We need an extra day with the venue to do all that stuff before anyone gets on the track to practice, right? And I think they're trying to do that. I think they're looking at their potential venues. I think that they are open to improvements. And I really appreciate their heart for wanting to continue to do this event. We're going through some growing pains. This event had almost 70 racers. Guys, that's just a long day in itself, just getting through a round robin of 70 racers, right? And so heats. So big plans. I'm sure that we will all talk about it and make some great improvements. But shout out to all those sponsors, right? It wouldn't have happened if they weren't willing to jump in there and give financially and give product for giveaways. And yeah, it's just awesome. So I'm a fan. 55, absolutely. Thank you to all the sponsors. Pistol Pete, good evening. Hillbilly Slots, good evening. Freighter must be professional typist. Hey, Chris. Daniel, I think I said, hey, had a great call with Daniel, Shotgun Dave, and George. Yeah, I'm not done with my thank yous. I was saving George for last. Steve Swatell, he made this thing happen, guys, this live stream. I have some equipment, and Steve called me about a month ago and said, Marty, what do we need to do to make this thing next level? And make a list of things that you would like. And I was afraid to make that list. I'll just be honest with you, because I know he wanted to help, and I didn't want him to feel like I didn't want to take advantage of that. And so my list was pretty short, but it had 2 additional cameras, these OBSBot cameras. We pretty much maxed out what a Mac can do with cameras, USB cameras. We'll have to look at some kind of video mixer that can do HDMI inputs, and that's probably the next thing, and do webcams. So hopefully there's some great things that come out over the next year that we might be able to take advantage of. But Steve, I sent Steve that list. I said, I need, 3 20-foot USB cables. I need these 2, potentially 1 or 2 of these cameras would be great. And some little mounts for them, so I can hang them on these light stands that I had. And that worked out awesome. The cameras were never in the way of anybody's view. I would like to redo some camera angles. Now that we set up the room, I kind of have an idea of some better options. But Steve, a couple days later, I get an Amazon package, and it's got, everything that I asked for in it. And he's like, let's make this thing good. And I hope we did that. We had lots of great feedback, but I know there are things we can do better. And I'm excited about, leveling up again. But I have to do this. I have to shout out Steve. He's not claiming his response to me in the text message I just got from him. Moi, I don't know anything about an Amazon package that might have some articulating arms inside. I had to take a tripod and tape it up on one of the light stands, and that must have bothered him. It bothered me, but I realized I miscounted. I'm like, crap, I have 4 of these cameras and I only have 3 of these articulating arms. And so an Amazon package showed up with two more articulating arms, and then 2 different brand of arms that I like even better than the ones that I picked up. Who does that? I mean, it's awesome. So the weekend blessed me in many, many ways. Maybe the coolest thing was I got a chance to meet George at Area 51. George has been super kind to me since day one. He started following me. He's one of my first 25 subscribers on the Slot Car channel. He's been very generous. He's given me so many things to get my channel started. And but we've never been able to meet in person. And George drove up from North Carolina. You guys all know. We talked about it. And I didn't want to feel rushed. George came in, like we packed some things up, and then we sat down and just chit-chatted for a minute before we jumped in a car and talked for 4.5 hours, you know. I just wanted a moment just to like tell him I appreciated that he made the trip up. Hey, Tycho Matt, man, thanks for joining. Appreciate you being here. Phil, awesome, brother. Good people, man. There's just so many good people in this hobby. And George is one of them. George just showed up. He didn't have a job. I didn't say, hey, I need you to do this. He just said, hey, I want to go and I'm going to give away some 3A 3D product. Dude, his product was gone before the practice was over. He gave away car stands and he gave away everything he brought. He even gave away cars that he has built. I don't think he was expecting to give them away, but man, we had like 4 or 5 young drivers, and he hooked some of those guys up with some 3A 3D finished products, which I think is unbelievable. But George just did anything and everything we needed. He jumped on when I was racing, which was pitiful, by the way. Multitasking, a live stream and a race wasn't good. But man, George, thank you for everything. The cool thing that when he got here is I bought a 3D printer off of George, which has occupied my headspace for 3 days now. And so we took care of that before we left, and I finally got to fire it up last night, and I'm having some fun with it. So I thank you, George, for everything. But he jumped in, took care of the live stream, helped Steve and Ian, and gave them, gave us a fourth voice. Josh Reed jumped in on the mic. He helped out too. I had a bunch of friends that just like really tried to help me out as much as they could. I hope that I wasn't a distraction to Daniel and Dusty and Steve and Rob and Kurt, the guys that are, that were there racing. I'm sure I'm missing a bunch, but I hope I wasn't too much of a distraction, that you guys were able to focus and have some great racing. But yeah, George, thanks, man. It meant the world. So I'll move on. Those are thank yous. I've got other thank yous, but I'd like to thank the Academy. But this is my first 3D printed thing. And Shotgun Dave, thank you, Shotgun Dave, and George and Harry Wise. They sent me the file with the 2 Lines logo on it to print these setup blocks. How cool is that? And so thanks, Dave and Harry and George. It gave me something cool to print instead of printing one of those stupid benchies that I have no idea what I would do with. So I was able to print something very useful. The 3D printing is going to get out of hand, fellas. That's all I can say. So Phil, man, thanks for tuning in tonight. Appreciate it. Dave, what's up? You see Slot Cars. One of my favorite logos out there in the slot car world. That UC Slot Car logo looks great. And then my buddy Daniel, he sent me a tire cleaner, and I've been messing around last night late with Blender, trying to make some changes to it. And yeah, very, very cool. So, and then I sent it to Shotgun Dave and said, hey, I've got this great idea for the battery tray. I have no idea what I'm doing in Blender. I don't know if I can make it happen. And he just sent it to me before he goes to dinner. Like he knocked it out here to completely rebuild it in like 15 minutes. But yeah, cool stuff. So guys, tonight I'm going to give this away. My very first 3D print will be somebody's setup block. It's in carbon fiber. How cool is that? The logo is not perfect. It's a little small, so there's one thing that didn't print, a part of the helmet. But I don't think you guys mind that, right? So we'll give this away tonight if you guys are up for it. And I actually have something printing on the printer right now. Let's see. Hey, Ron. Hey, Colt. How are you tonight, buddy? Thanks for tuning in. Good to have you. Hey, John Mark. Hey, Spare Room. Filthy Slots. Hillbilly. Man, Phil, thanks. I really appreciate the compliment. Oh. Steve Hulsman, buddy, you got it. I'll send you the recipe. I get notifications on my computer when you guys text me. I think you guys enjoy that. Let's see what else. Hey, Mark. Thanks for the nice comment, man. Hey, guys, I'm pretty sure the delay is due to putting back all the gear we used at the Nats. George was right. And here's Marty. Thanks, Chris. Hey, Jerry. So I'm already way behind in the chat. Looks like a lot of us have been assigned inmate numbers since the Nats. Yeah, I noticed that some of the handles aren't translating, which is weird. Hey, Bruce. Thanks for tuning in. Oscar. All recovered from the marathon already. So, guys, oh, man, you guys can't. It's all bleached out. So one of the other things that happened is like Oscar shows up on practice day and gives me kind of a care package. And in that care package is a 3D printed Slot Invasion USA sign. And it's going to actually go back here because I think it'll show up better. It's too close to my camera and it's kind of bleached out, but I'm going to grab it so you guys can see it. So check this thing out, man. How cool is that? And I don't have an open outlet here, but it was great to meet Oscar in person. And but he hooked me up with this, and this is the coolest. Very, very cool. So I'm proud to put that here on the channel. We'll set it right here. It looks really cool in the background, but it was great to meet Oscar. I got to meet so many people, and I know I'm going to not say somebody's name, so I probably shouldn't try to do that. But I got to see the Bondies, Mark and Mark Jr. They gave me something. I mean, like people were coming with gifts. It's nuts. But Oscar hooked me up with some more Slot Invasion guides. And you know what? I'm going to return the favor. I'm going to give some of those away over the coming weeks. Mark Bondi gave me this tray to put some cars on when you go to tech, and that worked out fantastic. And this is some really cool filament. So I got to use that. What else? Josh brought me the new version of the the 2-finger trigger for the DS, 3D printed, and it works phenomenal. I had one of the prototypes. The new ones are fantastic. So Oscar, thank you. Thank you for being there. It was great to visit and meet you in person. I really appreciate it. Great guy. Guys, slotinvasionusa.com. Lots of great product. We talked a lot about, the products that he has and how he gets them made and what's available out there. And we talked a lot about tire compounds and everything that he makes, and he's got a lot of great products. So, tonight's sponsored by our normal Super Tires, Pamela, and Todd at Super Tires, doing some awesome work. But Slot Invasion, Area 51, Slot Car Corner, Professor Motor, Cloverleaf Racing. You notice I hang the 6-hour poster back here. Mike Stott hooked me up with another poster. I'm going to hang it right here of this race. So I'm pretty excited about that. Ooh, maybe I'll go back here because I'm hosting a holiday race, an endurance race in December, and I got to get this place in order because I got some guys coming over to run. Who else do we have? Claudio. I got to race with Claudio. We raced in the same heat in vintage and in GT. Claudio, you handled the track in GT much better than I did, buddy. You ran away with that heat. Well done. But I would tell you that the lane I was in, all of them, that track was so dirty when I got on, and my car wasn't performing great anyway, and it just exaggerated how loose that car was. The GT race, we're not going to talk about it. I really, my car broke. The braid. This just in. I will be in partnership with Slot Car Corner releasing the single braid kit for your NSR Championship cars. So coming soon to Slot Car Corner, you will be able to get the official 2 lines single braid kit with no guide. Sorry. Because if I was, I would have to partner with Oscar and use Slot Invasion guides. But we will have the single braid kit available. It's fast. But Claudio, it was so much fun to race you in the vintage. I got you, but just a little bit. But it was fantastic, bro. You were great. Joe DeCola. Joe, I took ownership of the dumpster, buddy. You can say what you will, but you got it, Steve. Thanks, man. But I took over the dumpster. You moved out. I moved in for the long haul. We missed you, man. Doug. Yep, Doug, you didn't make it down this year, but thanks for hanging out on the live stream. Happy Turkey Week, Ryan, to you as well. Yeah. Ryan, I meant to tell you, I haven't sent you a message. I don't have tires for you for those cars you sent. So, but I do have some other tires, so I'm going to send them to you, and hopefully you can use them on one of your cars or some of your cars. I know it's been a while since we talked about that, but I finally got to go through my tires that I had and to see if I had anything that would work for you. Hey, Gary, great job this weekend. Yes, that was fun. I'm glad you had a good time. Steve Hulsman is in the house. Steve, speaking of Steve, I've got his third place cars. Maybe we'll throw them on the track if Steve doesn't mind tonight. Although I haven't cleaned the track, so It'll be just like my GT heat. Steve says he's still tired. Hey, Mike. What's up, fellow slot car nerds? Yeah, thanks for joining. What else? Kurt DeMar says hi to everyone. He is in the hospital. Yeah, Kurt is not feeling great after the race and ended up, I think, needing some oxygen. They've got him in the hospital. So, good thoughts to Kurt. Hopefully, he makes a quick recovery. Yeah, TD is in the house. What else? Ernest is chilling at the 3D printer. Nice. Yeah, man, it was good to see you after or at the race. I'm glad you made it, and I think you had a good race. I mean, you were racing slot cars. I mean, everybody had fun, right? Shotgun Dave is in the house. Actually, he should probably be at dinner by now with his wife. He told me they were heading out. Yeah, Big Oak, go race. Sean, Andrea from NSR, clean sweep, Western Championship, both classes of Eastern Championship. Andrea is the man. He's the man, the myth, the legend. They did release the final tally, and they're kind of a mess. I think there was some issues pulling stuff out of PC Lap Counter. But hey, the podiums were what were important. So in GT, I don't know who was second. Guys, help me in the chat. Andrea was first. Steve was third. And I don't remember who was second. I apologize, guys. Because that last race in GT was happening while I was running my vintage. So I didn't even get to watch it, which was a little frustrating. And then in the vintage class, it was Andrea, Dickey, and Steve Hulsman first, second, third. And that's your podium. Raul is in the house. So lo and behold, Massimo, Raul, Warren from Litex Slots, Joe Areras Carrera, they walk in. Oh, George K. Oh, George from Cleveland. So congrats, George. He was second place in the GT. He had a great weekend. His cars were, Kazakis. Thanks, Steve. Yeah, he had a great weekend. But I got to meet Raul in person for the first time, which we've had tons of conversations. I mean, we were on a live stream, for a year together. I finally got to meet in person. MP, got to meet him in person. Joe and Warren, I've met before. And then we had Johnny Hobby came to the race, and it was great to meet him and his brother, who we've seen on his channel if you've watched. And that was their first event, and it didn't go great for them. They borrowed my controllers. There was a lot of chaos going on. Practice was kind of crazy for them. In the morning, you only had about 2 hours. They extended practice because of the missed practice before. That's why I was talking about it needs organization. That practice needs to be organized, because you have a bunch of guys that got like 8 rotations on the track, and then you have some guys that got 1 rotation on the track. I was one of those. But if it was scheduled and you had a practice group, then you might not have to be there all day for practice. And 2, you would have a chance, without all the pressure of getting back in line, to work on your car, and maybe it's more productive practice. So I think there are some things we can do. But Raul, thanks for coming. I'm glad you had a great race. Your GT, buddy, you did good. Um, and now maybe we need to talk about next year, right? But it was great to meet those guys in person, and Johnny and his brother. I'm glad they made the trip, and they ended up leaving before they got to race because the day got long, really long, and but I apologize for that, but I'm glad that they made it. They got a chance to meet them in person, and that's always a lot of fun. Chris, eat a lot of Tex-Mex here in Oklahoma. Nice. What else? Dickie is not getting a Christmas card this year. He passed me way too many times. Well done, my friend. Yeah, he looked good, man. He looked really good. I'm skipping through a lot of that's funny, Dusty. I'm skipping through a lot of comments, guys. I'm trying to keep up a little better tonight. I mean, it's 8:41. So back to the race. Two classes, the vintage class, the GT class. I think guys were fast. Andrea just like that. I think that track really played into being a plastic track. It just plays into his skill set, right? His strengths, and they're his cars. But I think we closed the gap this year. He didn't. I think he got us by a few laps in the GT, but we were tight. The group as a whole, we brought him in. To be fair, he never even practiced his vintage car. That's what makes it so impressive. All the OKM guys were very cool to hang out with. George, thanks. I like hanging out with those guys too. They're good people. Hey, Anthony, good evening. Bird has been in a garlic brine since yesterday. No dry turkey here. Fantastic. John is ready for Thanksgiving. We all had so much fun this past weekend, and the race was fun too. Yeah, I think Dusty's making the point that I was headed with this. I think I enjoyed getting to see people that I met last year again, like Mark and Craig and a bunch of other people, and then the new people I got to meet. I was talking about racers, and then the new people I got to meet. It was fantastic. I got to hang out with Claudio and race with Claudio, and that was a blast. I enjoyed it. Would I have liked to have been faster? Yes. Would I have wanted more laps? Yes. But I wouldn't have gotten to race with Claudio, and now I feel like I got this bond with him, like we're buds on the track, and we had fun, and I think that's what it's all about. And I think I enjoyed the meals with guys, and just the chatter, and getting to hang out with a bunch of friends and new friends, and that's probably, I enjoyed that more than the racing. And so I went into the weekend knowing that we had a schedule and it was going to be impossible. From the live stream standpoint, covering two tracks is difficult. And I feel like we did the best that we possibly could. I mean, on ESPN, they cover one race at a time. They cover one ball game at a time. They're announcers. We covered two different races at a time. And I feel like we did it justice. Was it easy? No. Did the broadcast as a whole suffer a little bit? Probably. I had to keep switching between the two different leaderboards. We had problems keeping the leaderboards available to superimpose over the image. There were lots of things that we fought, but I think that all in all, the live stream went okay. I would like to have some camera shots that are a little closer. So I think guys struggled to see what they were actually watching. They could see there was a car going around, but they couldn't tell whether it was a vintage or a GT car. So we had to, continue to tell them what we were watching and what we were looking at on the cameras. So that's what we're we're going to improve. We're going to learn. We're going to download and take the feedback that we received at the race, and then what I'm continuing to receive after the fact. I had some people tell me that was really difficult to watch because they had no clue what was going on, and like I understand that. I get it. I mean, I think that we tried our best to keep people informed, but we bounced around between the two tracks so much that's why we had completely different shots for each track, so that people could get used to like this shot. Like I felt like the GT track, we had a much better full track shot. But we didn't have the same thing because we had the light stand closer, trying to get closer shots on the vintage cars. And it worked fine, but I think we could do better. Yep. I'm glad you guys got to meet. That was cool. Hey Dave, good evening. Here for about a half a cup of coffee. Well, I hope it holds out for you, buddy. Saw you in Ann Arbor, Marty, but you looked very busy, so didn't want to bug you. Man, rerun. You should have bugged me. It was okay. That was the important piece of it to me. So yeah, I think it was good. But yeah, we'll get a chance to do that again. Hey Clearwater, if I miss your comment, your questions, the Henry Ford is incredible. Yeah, so it was cool that Josh took Ian. I think they had a great time. Yep. Josh was the Slurpee attendant. Yeah, he was. He took great care of Ian. I really appreciate it. Hey, Bowtie. Thanks. I'm glad you enjoyed the race coverage. I mean, I went back and watched a little bit, and I think the coverage was great. I think that Steve and Ian and George, when he was on, and Josh when he was on, all of it was really, really good. Like I said, 14 and a half hours trying to like hold engagement is on two races at once. It's impossible. But we made the impossible possible. I just feel like it went way better than it deserved to. Yeah, I'm glad that John Mark, when we got home on Sunday, John Mark was sitting outside my house. He and his wife Kathy, because he wanted to meet George, and so we just had about a couple minutes to greet, and before George was off to North Carolina. But that was really cool. Marty was awesome for everyone lending a hand. Yeah, man. As Ian kept saying, teamwork makes the dream work. And that was it for sure for the weekend. I knew there was something I was missing. Welcome. Glad you found us. Ian Chewitz, awesome. Yeah, that's right. Rob, I don't know how many packs of Chewits he ate, but a bunch. It has been too long, Daryl. You guys have made a great team on the Nationals race. Thanks. Ian is the best. Yes, Raul, he is. Ian was incredible. Hopefully he'll be back next year. Steve, I hope so. I'll need to figure out how to compensate him in some way. Because I really, he just did me, he did all of us a huge favor. And shout out to Doug at Magnetic Racing for like covering the house, taking care of things at home while Ian came back and did this race. Yeah, dude, Oliver is a man with broad shoulders. He just took everything in stride. I really have enjoyed working with him. And that's why I did the live stream, because like he and Mike have been great to me, and I want to help them out how I can. And I have a specific skill set. I can talk a lot, I guess. And if I can use that to help them, that's what I'm going to do. So I thoroughly enjoyed the stream, had it open almost the full day. I think that's awesome. Yeah. Thank you to the organizers, sponsors, everyone who came out to be a part of the event. Yeah, Raul, man. Glad you were there to enjoy it. Shout out to Andre at NSR. He was there till the end. You're right, George. He was there the entire day. I think we wore out his fiance. She went back to the hotel and chilled. But Andrea was great, man. I think about Andrea last year, and I felt like he was a little backward. And what I mean by that, it was like he looked like he was tired. He was engaging, like he talked to people, but a lot of people demanded a lot of his time, and I think it was tough. This year was a completely different Andrea, man. He was joking around, laughing, like his energy was incredible. And I think he's super excited about the prototype car. And I think that was some of it. I think he enjoyed the layout and the racing. I think it's great. We'll put you Blazers. We're going all out, suit and tie, Steve. Nice. Raul, I'm glad that you got some help, man. I hate that I wasn't able to help you, but after you saw my car, you didn't want me messing with that. Gary, I saw some of the race. It was at work. Nice. Mike, Mike had a great race, brother. I'm just curious. The last 2 hours of live stream are not on the YouTube channel. I wanted to know if you were able to send me the last 2 hours or if it's just lost. Mike, I hate to tell you that it looks like the last 2 hours are gone. I did not save that to my computer because I've never had an issue with YouTube cutting a live stream off at 12 hours. Um, but then I realized that the last live stream I did was like 10 and a half. So I didn't even test it, but it obviously 11 hours and 57 minutes, I think, it cuts off and it didn't buffer the rest. I even let my computer run the whole time and yeah, it was gone. So what that means next year is we'll have to split that into two things. We will do qualifying as one live stream, like what Electric Dreams does. I'm guessing that they discovered that. I probably should have talked to Carlos about that beforehand. I didn't think we would go that long, to be honest with you, which is why I didn't worry about it. But unfortunately, Mike, I hate it. I hate that it's gone. Jason, yeah, the Magnetic guys are awesome. We're all one big family. All the guys that come from the East Coast are great. You did a great job. Jason, thanks, man. Jason, I can't wait to get to meet you. I got to get out there to the West. I think that there's, friendly competition, obviously, but there's something between the two. We saw it raise its head, a week or so ago. And I think that how Andrea handled that was phenomenal. And I think that we need to build some bridges because I think there are some events coming down the road that are going to be awesome if we can bridge that gap between the East and the West. So yeah, man, thanks. I appreciate that comment. Hey, Ron, great job. Whoever designed the layout, that was a fun track. Combined good straight speed, a tricky back half. Also like the idea of a different track that no one knew about in advance. Ron, I believe I'm right there with you, man. I thought at first glance, I was like, I'm not sure if I like that layout. But like every slot car track I've been on, I end up loving it because it's a challenge and it's something new, right? So, Ron, I'm glad you were there. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Robert says headsets with mics. That actually, we had microphones in front of us and we had headsets on most of the time because the room with two racetracks going and over 100 people at the event, the room was loud. And I'm glad I brought those headphones because it isolated us, and we were able to focus a little bit more. So that's a great idea. Maybe we look at that. Ian, the Murray Walker of slot cars. There you go. That's awesome. Steve and George brought some great tech commentary to the stream. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Steve's vast knowledge just really shined, and Ian, and so does George's. But Ian has a way of like bringing that out of people, right? Asking the right questions. He is the true professional, and he just made it easy for all of us. Everyone at the event, a huge thank you for all your hard work. The live stream was next level. So happy to be racing and hanging out with you guys. Yeah, thanks, Steve. Let me skip down. Looks like some of the comments are like doubling up. Yeah, man, we just had a lot of great people. Hey, Jack. Jack was very active in the live stream chat. I appreciate that, Jack. Lots of great questions. Slot Ripper. Moved in yet, Chris? I think he's close. Got a great history lesson on the city of Chillicothe. It's what I do, George. I love my town, man. If that doesn't come across to anybody, I mean, look, I'm already sporting a 740. I love Chillicothe. It's a great town to be to live in, and has a lot of great things happening. George should have raced after that long drive. I know he didn't want to, but I wish he would have gotten on the track and run some laps. Hey, Jason, it's been a while. Things look good on the live stream. Keep up the good work. Great. So I feel like I'm doing lots of thank yous, and that's not what this whole episode is supposed to be. This whole live stream is supposed to be about. But 99% of the guys that I've met through slot cars have been the greatest people on the planet. Jerry, I can attest to that too. Thank you, George. Huge shout out. My son is so excited to build the car they gave him, and he raced his brother already with the Duracell stock car you gave him. That's awesome. Mike, you had a great weekend, man. Patrick, the live stream events get better every time. Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. I'll text you about a time tomorrow. I think I'm good any time during the day. So if you're still in the live stream, but I'll text you that as well. I'd love to catch up while everything is fresh in my head about, next time. It would be nice to see the NSR Eastern Champion in the East. Gary, yeah, we were close. Dickie about got it, but Andre is just too good, man. He is just so good. You were not a distraction, but rather an attraction that made the event better. Man, thanks for the kind words, guys. Thanks. I was exhausted. Oh my gosh. I was running on fumes by the end of that day. I think everybody was, though, so I wasn't alone for sure. 2026. Let's go. Yeah, man. Man, I am so far behind. Joshua. Oh yeah, Josh. Man, I'm glad you had a great weekend too. Looked good out on the track. Thanks for jumping in here and saying hello. Hi everyone, we're going to take over the world. I heard someone say something about slot cars becoming an Olympic sport. You're helping make it happen. John Tucci, no worries. All I've been doing is thanking everybody. My wife enjoyed your broadcast, and she usually doesn't like sportscasters. But Gary, she was watching you. She got a chance to see you race. That's what it was about. Oh, dude, Oscar was hilarious in person. Agreed. Yep, it was great meeting him. Hey, Greg. I am so far behind. 2 lines lighted sign will be printing soon. That's right. It sounds like what I was printing just finished. Hey, thanks. I'm going to try to catch up a little bit, guys. So if I miss somebody, what's up? Pamela is in the chat. Sponsor, channel sponsor. I want a TL single braid kit. I only want it if it's used. That's great. Good job. Claudio's here. I have to leave now. Claudio was fun to race with, man. We had a good time. All right. Let me get forward here. So let's Steve sent his cars home with me, and guys, he really he built some nice cars. Here is his vintage car, still with sticker. Great livery. Looks fantastic. And then what I'll do is I'll do a breakdown video of this, if you guys want. I mean, Steve didn't get the win, but these cars were awfully fast, and we're always curious about what the fast guys do to their cars, right? Wow. That's interesting. And then here's the GT. So some great cars. We will do a video on those and show you what's going on with them. Something else I have. This is, you guys know that I'm working on a controller video, like a shootout with all the controllers I have. If you are a controller company and you've got a great controller and you would want me +1 True Speed Apex, Third Eye, if you would like me to review and take a look at your controller, this is the True Speed, the MT2. Now, this is not the Apex. This is the model just below the Apex. And I'm going to be testing this out. I've never used this controller, but I've used the True Speed controller, so I'm comfortable with the handle. But a shout out to Rich Wolf. Rich is from Granville, Michigan. And Rich came up to me. He sent me a message about 5 days before the race and said, hey, I'm going to be there. And would you be interested in trying out the MT2? Because I've said that before on the channel. And so he graciously showed up with it, converted it to XLR so I could use it because he knew that I used XLR on my track. How awesome is that? Rich, you are awesome. Rich, I'm going to work on my video. I'm going to test this controller, and then I'll get it right back to you. I've got your address here and your phone number. But I just a shout out to you. Thank you. At first glance, True Speed handle. But it actually has a wiper. So it's actually kind of a hybrid. It's an analog. It has a wiper. It has, let's see, how many contacts? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 21, maybe. It has brake, coast, and sensitivity. So I'm really curious. And then it also has a launch button, and then you can put a coast or normal, and then you can adjust the throw. I'm not going to change any settings on this, or any of those settings, but I'm really curious to see how this works, and maybe we try it tonight. So at this point, I will be using the MK15. I will be using the DeFalco, the DS PHN1, the MT2, and the SP2 by Slotted. That's a pretty good roundup. But there's room for a couple more if anybody wants, if any of those companies are watching the live stream and they want to send it to me. I don't have to keep it. I'll send it back. But it would be cool because I get lots of controller questions, mainly because I've become fascinated with controllers. I have a lot of great conversations with John Albright. This weekend, I feel like I didn't do a great job of changing my settings on my controller until Steve, late in the GT race, said, "I'm watching your car, and you need to crank up your sensitivity." And I don't know why in the race I kind of like froze. I think I was fighting the car so hard that I really was afraid to do anything, and I need to get over that. So we're going to try this. I'm looking forward to it. The other thing is, guys, we have some other camera views. So let's take a look at our camera views of the track that we'll have for a little bit. Camera switcher. There we go. So we have that view. We have this view. That's a new view. That's from the opposite side of the room. We have this view. It's a little dark. Oh, because there's a light that's not on. And then this is the overhead view. I just moved this. So let's go here. And let's see if we can put this camera where it needs to be. But this should give us an overhead shot of almost the entire track. Look at that. How cool is that? So I'll turn that light on, and that will improve that shot. But that's cool stuff. So how's that? Did it improve that shot? There we go. All right. And so I guess I could do this. So it's 9:10. Did I talk about everything? Oh, 3D printing. We talked about 3D printing. So I now have the Centauri Carbon from Elegoo. And shout out to George again for that. printing some cool stuff. I think what I talked about last week was I want to have something. A lot of people do nice things for me, and I never have anything to send back to them because I don't make anything. And I've wanted to be able to do something that's practical, right? And so I'm trying to come up with some ideas of some things to make that I can put my logo on and then hand out to guys. Kind of mentioned that, so I'm working on some of those projects. I'll share them on the channel as we move forward. 3D printing, we talked about that. Mentioned the holiday race. I don't know what else is going on in the chat. You guys have any questions? Reach out to Marco at Electric Dreams for practice rotation. Had it organized into groups, and the drivers come according to the group assignment, and it works out well. I plan to do that, Jason. I mean, it's not my event, but I think that if we could get some organization there, it would be a big help. Andrea stressed braking early and being smooth, getting back on the gas, and slow out fast works in motorcycle racing also. So braking early, yeah, I mean, it's all about keeping the rear of the car behind the guide, right? Patrick asked me what controller I used. I used the MK15. Sean says, in other news, Mid-South slot cars took an oval to the Memphis Rodders reunion, and it was a huge hit. We had 12 to 15 kids all weekend. I didn't even know kids came to the event. That's awesome. How about a braid holder? I only need my single braid. Steve cleaning my braids and the braid coming off was the single. I'll never live that down, and it's all good. It's fun, man. Sean, I'm glad that event went well. That was the exciting thing about this event. We had 5 or 6 young kids. We had Andrew, who's like 11 or 12. He's like 12. And Mark, I don't know if he's 12, 13 years old. We had a few other young kids racing. And like, that's the future of the hobby, right? So now how do we get them engaged? Hopefully they enjoyed the event. It was a long event for anyone. And you kind of have to know that going in, that you're there to race. It's going to be all day, and it's going to take some time, and you got to be patient. And that's what, there's plenty of time to bench race and get to know some more people and meet some new friends and make new friends. I think that's kind of all part of the day, the weekend, right? What stood out to me was Andrea taking GT with an AMG. Well, I think that, John, we asked him about that, and it was the car he had, which is funny. The C8 dominated the field. This is what I was wanting to talk about. The C8 dominated the field. The 908 was still very popular, but the Lola really cut into the number of 908s. There was still a lot of 908s, but the Lola was right there, right? So that car is coming around. People are excited about it and getting it tuned up. But yeah, he took it with an AMG. Raul, that's awesome. Raul, we will have some major conversations between now and then, because I think what my plan is in the midst of it, a lot of times I try to do everything, like most people, right? And it's hard to ask for help. And I'm getting to a place where it's easier for me to ask for help. Josh helped me out. Greg's helped me out. You know, Steve's helped me out. Oliver, all those guys. And so I think what I want to do is the live stream is super important for this event and for any big event. What Marco and those guys are doing at Electric Dreams with their races, what Jim Rose and Mark and Braden, Mark Pollard at Motown, live streaming their races. I think that has a big impact on what's happening in the hobby. And we know that not everybody is a racer, but not everybody runs NASCAR. But the reason why Ford, Chevy, and Toyota is they win on Sunday, they sell on Monday, right? That still happens. And so people always want to know, hey, what car was Ian Douglas running after he won an event? And guaranteed that people make decisions about buying slot cars based on how those cars perform, right? And so I think that the fact that there's more of that happening and more coverage for lots of different races, not just these nationals races, is super important. So I think what I'd like to do is like form a kind of a team. Unfortunately, for those of us who enjoy the racing side of it, I think that I've got to make the decision that I'm not going to race. The live stream is that important. It's exhausting to try to do both. And what I felt like going into the weekend that I wouldn't do either one of them well. And it sort of is how it panned out. Although I think I really focused on the live stream because it was so important. And so I'm going to try to build a team of people so that if it's another 14-hour live stream, the whole team is not in front of the camera the whole time. Steve Swatell wants to do a sideline guy. And we had a wireless mic. We could have done more of that. We could have put somebody out there, George or me or Ian. When Ian was out there with the wireless mic, he did awesome. I think that we could do more of that. And so we're going to plan to do that more of that. Wireless mic, headphone that we can tie into the audio system so that they can hear what's going on, so we can have we can communicate with them. Like we're stepping up our game. So Raul, definitely, that was a long answer to your comment, but I think that's where we're headed. And I think I'm just going to build a team to do the live stream of 6 or 7 people. And we've got a producer, director kind of position. We've got a runner that can run around and get information and do things for us. And we'll have a sideline person. And I kind of liked having 3 commentators because, somebody could jump off and go take a break and grab some food, and somebody else could. Yeah, George just texted me. A committee needs to be put together to help with the organization of the entire event, not just the live stream. But I would like to put a team together, and we start talking early. So, Steve, Raul, George, people who want to be a part of that. I want to start building the team now so we can talk about other events. There are those who claim that the AMG is junk. Here's the thing. My AMG, I sent to Shotgun Dave, and he loves that car on his track. I love my AMG on my track. I thought it was a great performing car. I just think that the C8 came out of the box so good, so fast, that like people have alienated a lot of the other GT cars. I don't know that there are bad NSR GT cars. But you're right. The AMG looks great. Looks great on track. So skipping ahead, would be great to meet you guys. Maybe I'll see you there. Yeah, that sounds good. Carol Bridges, I enjoyed the stream, but the lane colors need to pop more. The old color blind guy had a hard time recognizing the lanes. Yeah, I think a lot of it had to do, KR, is that the cameras were, to get a full shot of the track, the cameras have to be back far enough. The lighting wasn't perfect in that place, but the lane markers it's chalk. And it just didn't show up well. And they're kind of fluorescent colors. So they just didn't show up well on camera. And they were a little difficult in person until you figured out what was blue. There were two colors that looked similar. Orange and red looked very similar. Yeah, George put out a video. It's a little over an hour long, but it's like coverage behind the scenes, what was going on. So you can kind of see the chaos of the day. It was great. I had it on today. I understand Andrea used suspension at all 3 points on the pod, on the AMG. That's really interesting. Really interesting. That might, not a lot of people use the suspension. I'm curious to see if Steve used suspension. No suspension. So yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it's not really right to say one model is worse than the other. They all can be fast. But I agree, it was an amazing car. Yeah, his car was good. It was really good. Hey, Bradley. Let's see. And I'm still so far behind. I didn't realize that Ian didn't stay in the state. He flew back. Then yeah, yep, it was crazy. I ran my vintage car for a total of 10 minutes on the dirty track trying to clean the track. The GT car I had one rotation with. Hard to make adjustments when time is limited for sure. Yeah. And it was a tight time schedule. Steve, you were tuning multiple cars too. Front tires are for decoration. That's right. They could be square. At Tailspin, we printed a podium with spaces for the top 3 cars. 2 lines nationals in the future. Boy, I don't know. Yeah, Bradley has the 2-knob Professor motor. Yeah, those are great controllers. It would help if they had a beginner race or split races based on time. So they do. So how the event went, Sean, is they qualified and then they grouped you by time in heats. So you were racing people who were the same level as you or based on your time. So if you had a car that didn't perform well in qualifying, then you may have been pushed down further than I was last year. But so yeah, that is how it worked. So that does make it pretty nice for everyone. Just finishing up racing Tuesday night. Awesome. Thanks for tuning in, Warren. Mark, good evening, Mark. I was bragging about you earlier. Thanks for the plate. I used it to tack my cars. Let's see. You and Colt watched for 11 and a half hours. That's awesome. What else? I'm trying to skim the Charles Shalom Martin. It would be nice if you could highlight some of the new slot car channels. Todd Metal at Toju does in his Monday. In his the 5 segment. Yeah. I talk during my live streams and during my videos. I always like point out channels that I'm paying attention to. There's a lot of slot car content out there, and everybody has different tastes. So, I mean, I could share what I enjoy, but yeah, Charles, I'm happy to do that. Right now, the channels I'm watching, I'm watching Shotgun Dave, I'm watching Area 51, I'm watching Harry Wise, I'm watching Slot R, I'm watching Herreras Carrera. Their live stream on Mondays, and then they do a show every other Saturday. I'm usually tuned in to those. So yeah, just lots of great content, and I know that I'm not naming everybody. So, but I'll work on that, Charles. Thanks, I appreciate that feedback. There could be pros and cons to that. Whoops, I missed. Mic up drivers. I did that at a practice at Steve's. I put Josh, one of the wireless mics, on Josh. We'll do that the next time. I should have done that. I thought about doing that. I didn't know who to ask. I thought about miking up one of the kids, because then we probably wouldn't have to worry about language. But then again, I may have gotten them in trouble with their mom. Question: did anyone try the Aston Martin in GT? I didn't take a good close look at all of the cars, but I would believe that most of them were represented. Most of the GT cars were represented. Yeah, Warren, thanks. It was a huge undertaking. It would be helpful if more tasks were delegated so that the management falls under many. Yeah, I think that sometimes that's hard to do, though. Daniel says that there were a couple Astons. Yeah, Dave K had one, and his car did great. Sean, that would be great. But Sean, if you make the trip to Michigan, you've got to race. You would enjoy it. It's fun. Suspension is good for plastic track because of the seams and joints. We've had kind of mixed. The Scalado is good track, so very welcome, George. My son is still obsessed with the Camaro you gave him. That's awesome. That's so good to hear. Man, that's oh. Hey, Jan. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, Salty. Yeah, we had a great time. It was good. Even with any of the issues. Dusty said I wouldn't put a mic on me during a race. Hey, did I make it to the bottom? What the heck? Remember last week you asked what I should tune. Jerry, there are a few Astons there. Yep. Man, if that gets done, it will be like the Naked Gun. Mic up the nicest and the grumpiest drivers. There you go. Phil, next time, brother, we're micing you up. I would enjoy that. I think it would be fun. I think it would be great if we could put a headset on you and you could hear the commentators, because I I will talk during the race, and I probably drive some people next to me a little crazy. It's one of the things I do to I make fun of myself. I apologize if I make a bad pass, and I did hit. I had one incident where I came in. We went through the S's, and we were coming out of it, and my car slid out, and we just kind of met, and I popped him out of the slot, and I stopped my car. I apologized. I felt awful. But yes, Phil, we will do that. We will mic you up the next time or volunteer. Remind me next year. With all this talk about audio, you should include full production lighting too. That's my career. Brian, the only issue, I brought a light with me, like a big lantern light, and it would have blocked our view of being able to see. The next time I would like to put us on a platform, the broadcast, so we're up and can have a good look at the whole thing. Again, that's something else we have to set up and tear down, and it just extends the time. But lighting would be great to be able to light the whole track well. But it would have to be up, out of the way. And so that's the key for that. But Mike, Andrea was using the medium springs. I was using the soft springs, but we had to talk about that before the race, and I just felt like the soft worked better for me. Nice call, Mike. I didn't use the suspension, and maybe that's why my car wasn't great. I don't know. So, you know what? I'm going to run, let's run a car, and we'll close out the show, the live stream. I won't be able to here we go. Check 1 2, check 1 2. Do you have me? Check 1 2. Yes, you do. Okay. So let's do this. Hey, let's use the MT2. And I'm going to run the MT2 just to give it a little test. And then we will oh, I need to start practice over. Pause, practice, zoom. Let's clear the laps. Ooh, dirty. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to swap it out. I'm going to move to a controller that I know. Because I'm gonna need to that one felt a little odd. Ooh, dirty tires, wow. So looking at the bottom, Steve was in his 908 is running the blue chassis with the white pod. He does have some tape across the front. He does have the pink motor. He was running the purple gear. So gearing choice. Well, so a cold track, dirty track. Probably not going to get great times on this. But hopefully this is rolling through different camera shots. No, it's not. Why is it not rolling through? It should be rolling through camera shots. Okay, now let's see if it is rolling through the camera shots. Wow, this car gets through the S's really good. Nice and quick. 7633. Okay, it's rolling. Ugh. Too dirty to really give you a good sense of how good this car is. But driving this car, it's good. I'll do a little wet clean since I need to get the lane clean. Oh, this is good. This is a fun car. I still can't tell if the camera is moving on the stream. Okay, that shot looked pretty cool. Well, that's no good. I'll do a couple more laps, then we'll call it an evening. Let me know in the chat, since I won't be able to read it until I'm back over there. What do you think of these camera shots? If I live stream our holiday endurance race, and I let the cameras roll, do you think this is good? I don't feel like the... Oh, no wonder. 30 seconds. I wasn't prepared to do this, I guess. Steve, some feedback on the car. You had a lot of fun in the vintage race because this car is good. Well, if I could get it cleaned up. Boy. There we go. All right. I don't know. What's it look like? I don't know what the footage looked like, but we will sign off. Looks like I still had some old messages out there. Guys, thanks for tuning in. And like I always say, go have some fun racing. Thanks. Thanks to everybody who went this weekend to race, who helped with the live stream. And it was a great event. Even with the issues that we had, in the end, had a lot of fun hanging out with a lot of great people. And that's what it's all about, right? Great friends, great fun. Guys, thanks for tuning in. As always, go have fun racing.